yeah, it's an honor to be here and talk a little bit about a product in new category. Actually, I think there was already a fragrance within this company, but to be honest, I think now we are really launching fragrance, and fragrance is different because all our products have a result. Fragrance has no result. You just smell better. So you don't see it. So you, by a sudden, you talk about emotion. And I think this is something what I discussed with my team is totally different to sell as a result. And this is one thing which is very important to consider. The other thing is when you talk about fragrance, there's I think at least there's different knowledge levels within our company and also within the world. So do you, for example, a lot of people, if they use a spray, a perfume, they don't know if they use a perfume or eau de cologne. And by the way, what is the difference? And what are the people talking about if they talk about citrus or more leather fragrance? And there are different things. So I think there are different categories of fragrances. There are different layers. So you talk about a top note, a hard note, and a base note. Yeah. And there is, especially in part of the application, there are huge differences. For example, a lot of people spray perfumes on clothes. That's not working. You need to spray the perfume on the neck or somewhere on the skin. And then you have to give the fragrance time to develop, because every fragrance or the same fragrance will smell on every person differently. And there are some tips in how to sell a fragrance. And there's, for example, one tip which I learned is usually we are used, if we have a good product, to give it to our interested person. A fragrance bottle, give it never ever directly to the person. Always keep it in your hand. And you will see that the person on the other side want to grab it and keep it in your hand and tell a story about it. So you attract the other person. Really, you make them serious, or you make them curious to have it. So never give a bottle directly to the consumer. Always take the time and the attraction to tell the story. And the story about our fragrance is fantastic. What is also important is to ask during the process when you sell a fragrance, ask the person, if you have put the fragrance on the hand, on the neck, what does it remind you on? And I would like to ask you, do you remember how your grandma smelled? I do. And it reminds me, it transports me in a different world. Yeah. Or do you remember, for example, the fragrance of your first partner? I can't hardly remember the face, but I remember the fragrance. So what I want to say, every person has a different imagination with the fragrance. Don't judge if the fragrance is good or bad. Let the consumer, the interested person, talk about it, and let them build a story about it. Yeah, it's emotional. It's not result oriented. You look the same. Doesn't matter which fragrance you use. I think what is also very, very important is I know sampling is expensive, but in case of fragrance, I think we should, or at least is what we are going to do in the DACH region. We are generous. Be generous. Use a lot of fragrance. Also be forever. I mean, usually everybody from us has this little lip in the back. Yeah. As of December, everybody should have the fragrance in the back and use it, because by using it, And this is a good thing versus the other products which we have. The fragrance, if you have used it, everybody can smell it. So it's a fantastic product in order to transport our messages. I think what is also important is we are used or to sell products due to benefits. A fragrance has actually no benefit, but a great story. So the topic of gifting is so important. So if you, for example, I don't know, at least in my case, if I buy I buy a present for my wife, I don't have only this present, I have always a story beside it, because the story makes the present much more special.